Right, skills test. In my opinion, one of the toughest challenges throughout the whole competition. And I don't like the look of this at all. What have they got to do with that?
Here we have some wonderful shellfish, abalone.
I'm sorry, there's no such thing as abalone and wonderful.
I'm a huge fan of abalone. It's something that's common in New Zealand, where I'm from.
What's the task?
I would like them to prepare and cook the abalone using any of the ingredients before them.
Anything that would disguise the flavour of the abalone. Good idea. I don't suppose many of these chefs would have even seen one.
This will make it a very interesting skills test then, won't it? Okay, so to remove this from the shell, look it in there, prise it off.
Are these diver caught?
These are actually farmed in Ireland. And look how beautiful this shell is. So once that's out of the shell, that should come off. And you also want to remove this back bit, because...
That's the poo.
Yes, it is. It's something that needs to be either sliced very thinly and cooked very quickly, or braised very gently. If it's not, it will just become like rubber. So this one I'm going to fry very quickly. But first I'm going to prepare a garnish with mine. And I'm going to use this wonderful mouli. I have some carrot as well. Some ginger. The thing is, abalone's flavour is quite fragile, so we have things like garlic and ginger and chilli, which could easily overpower this dish.
So if they're going to use the chilli...
Taste it.
And a bit of spring onion, yeah?
A little bit at the end. And we're just going to lightly split the ginger off. Some mirin. Soy sauce.
Ginger, mirin and soy.
Yep.
Oh, how lovely. I do like the little Asian vegetable ensemble. I do like that.
Okay, just kept it very, very simple. And I'm just going to cook the abalone. Pinch of salt.
How long will the abalone take to fry?
Seconds. Very hot pan, okay, and we're just going to sear them, and just for a little bit more flavour, I'm going to just drop some of this in there.
Wow, that was quick.
That is very quick.
And if you fry them for longer, do they just go rubbery?
That's right. And just a touch of lime on top. That is it. Very, very simple.
You know that I'm nervous of this and I've never enjoyed them before, right? Oh, I'm into that. I like those Asian flavours, a little bit of zing. That texture is a bit like squid. But how many of our chefs are going to know how to cook it properly?
Well, we're about to find out.
First up is French-born junior sous chef, Quentin. In the first round, he served an overly salted chocolate cookie with an unset mascarpone mousse.
I need to forget about last time and just crack on. Give my best today. Give everything I've got.
Quentin, do you know what that is?
I don't know what it's called, though. No, it's
That's an abalone.
abalone. Yes.
You've never handled one before? Or...
Never ever seen it before, but...
Okay, all right. We want you to prepare that abalone, and then using any of these ingredients you like, make it into a dish.
Okay.
So the abalone is a bit like whelk or very thick calamari.
Okay.
You got 15 minutes, off you go, chef. You're halfway, which means you've got 7.5 minutes. All done?
Yes.
Right, Quentin, on your work methods, you're very messy. You get flustered, you're peeling on the table, it's going in your dressing.
Even I was surprised at the mess you were getting in.
The abalone is quite thick, so it's a bit tough in places. The salad, you made a dressing, you only drizzle it on the top. Underneath it, it's not seasoned. You know, it's very bland, it's just tasteless. Everything needs to come together, Quentin, okay?
I like your dressing of chilli and garlic. It doesn't cover the whole salad, but I do like the colours you've put together. Quentin, thank you. Not great.
Like Greg, and when you guys said that just was a mess, it was really messy. I feel ashamed of that. I just rushed everything again. I need to show on a wheel show. I can do it a lot better.
"28-year-old Michael is a sous chef in a Cheshire hotel. In the last round, his otherwise impressive dessert was let down by a chocolate filling that was split.
I can't actually think of something that I wouldn't be comfortable with preparing. But Monica does make me feel slightly nervous. She really is looking for the slightest fault in everything. You can't hide.
Right, Michael, do you know what those things are in that tray?
They look very similar to oysters.
They do look similar. They're an abalone.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever handled one?
I haven't.
Righto. Then this round has just become very scary for me as well. Best of luck with this one, Michael. 15 minutes, abalones, off you go.
Am I allowed to try some?
Yeah, sure. Hey, stop. Wash it first.
Okay.
There's a bin on the side of that bench.
Thank you.
You've got 7.5 minutes left.
Cheers. Do I have to use all the ingredients?
No, but you're doing a good job of it.
3 minutes.
I'm finished.
You've never worked with an abalone before. I like the chef's brain that's switched on immediately. You want to taste. However, don't waste anything. It's an expensive ingredient.
Right. Let's get an abalone out.
The abalone is cooked well. It's very tender now because it was cooked at a very quick and high heat. Nice stir fry. I love the hint of the chili, the ginger's coming through. It's quite spicy, lots of texture. However, the abalone is completely lost in there, which is a shame.
I think it was a mistake throwing all those things into a stir fry because you just muddled the flavours, you know. But doesn't stop me being really impressed with the way you approached that abalone, Michael. You were scared, I was scared. Turned out okay, didn't it?
Thank you.
Off you go. Good lad.
Very good lad.
Even though I haven't seen an abalone before, I do feel pleased that I've pulled something out of the hat and impressed Monica and Greg, definitely.
Born and bred in a township in South Africa, Petrus began his career in the kitchen washing pots. He's now head chef of a two-rosette restaurant in Kent. He was criticised in his first round for producing 2 mediocre dishes, rather than 1 fantastic plate.
I really want to be in the competition. I'm really determined. I'll look around what I've got and I'll cook from my heart. That's the best ingredient I've been taught by my mum.
Patrice, we only want 1 dish.
Yes, thank you very much.
1 dish, abalone style, off you go. Five minutes gone, Patrice. Three minutes left. That's it, your time's up.
Patrice, I don't quite understand your dish. It looks messy. Show a bit more love and just a little more finesse.
Served up to me, I think it looks a little greasy. There's a great deal of oil and sauce there. Have you ever noticed customers never sing happy tunes when they're given food they don't like? The zing of lime, saltiness of soy sauce, the heat from the garlic, the abalone themselves are soft now. I really like it.
Taste-wise, chef, that's a good plate. You need to work on the presentation.
Yes, chef. I'll definitely do that.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much, chef.
Off you go. Such a nice fella. Makes you smile, doesn't it?
It does. You can't help but smile then.
There were some few hiccups in terms of presentation, but I feel proud. I've shown Monica what I can do in terms of flavor. I've actually managed to deliver a quite tasty dish today.
Finally, it's 27-year-old head chef Scott from St Andrews. His basil panna cotta, strawberry jelly and shortbread dessert was a standout dish in the first round.
We started off such a good thing. I think I definitely need to go in with even better now. Hopefully I can beat their expectations again.
Do you know what they are?
The abalone?
Top man. Yeah. Have you ever prepared one?
Yes, but I've only really slow cooked them for about 8-12 hours. I make it nice and tender.
You cooked them for 8 hours before. We're giving you 15 minutes.
Okay, do it.
Off you go, mate. Get amongst it, you and the abalone. Minutes, Scott. Like it, do you?
I do. It's like ceviche. Okay, I'm happy with that.
You done?
Yeah.
Scott, it shows that you've worked with abalone before. That's a very good effort.
I think you got a little bit heavy-handed with the salad at the end, chef. It was a really dainty little dish, and then you dropped half a ton of salad on it. Give us a hand with this, Monica.
Scott, I really like the flavours that's going through your ceviche. The lime and the hint of chili is very light. However, the abalone, because you've served it as a ceviche, you need to make sure you trim the outer edge, the curly bit that goes around it, because it is very chewy, almost impossible to eat through that.
Love the flavours. It's so fresh and alive. It's singing and it's zinging. I love the little bits of chili. I love the ginger giving heat. You've obviously got knowledge and skill. I think you've done very well here.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Thanks very much. Happy. Finesse really let me down there. Just rushed at the end. So definitely got a lot more to show.
That wasn't as bad as you thought it would be.
No, I'm really relieved. Everybody presented an edible abalone. One in particular I thought was delicious. Petrucci's dish today was as impressive as his grin. It was lovely. You and I stopped tasting it and started eating it.
Not the prettiest we've seen in a while, but he can work on that, and I hope he's going to be able to carry it through.
Michael had never seen an abalone before, but he worked it out. He sliced it and fried it the same way that you had done. But where I think he went wrong was then putting everything he could find on the bench into a stir fry.
Yeah, the abalone was just lost in his stir fry.
Quentin managed the abalone. You were distraught at the way he was working, with rubbish piled up all over the desk.
Today was not a good day for Quentin.
I've got to say, it was an uninspiring salad, probably the least enjoyable dish of the day.
Scott did this very well. He attempted a different dish. You know, if he had trimmed more of the sides of the abalone off, the ceviche would have worked. And then that massive haystack he put on top of it, it's like, why?
But good flavours he put on there. He continues to impress me, does Scott. We now hand them over to Michelle and he puts them through their paces with classic recipes.
Greg, if some of these chefs don't smarten up their act, Michelle is going to have a field day with them.
The classic I'm cooking now is a maigret de canard bordelaise. Duck breast with red wine sauce from the region of Bordeaux. First job is to start the sauce. It really is important that the chefs get that sauce on immediately. It has to be reduced down to perfection. I'm cutting the shallots not too thin. They're going to be a very important part of the garnish. Red wine and a classic bouquet garni of leek, bay leaf and thyme. Next step is to prepare the duck maigret, and we trim up any excess sinew, excess fat, scored, and this helps the fat to become nice and crispy. And then it goes into a pan, but a cold pan. We want to render down the fat slowly so we get lovely crispy skin. It's singing to me. I love it. The bone marrow has been soaked. You just push it out of the bone here into salted water, and we're just going to bring that up to a gentle simmer and switch it off. If you boil the bone marrow too much, it will melt away and you'll have nothing left in the pan, just fat. The duck is cooked, and now I just leave it to rest. The wine is almost reduced down to nothing. Now's the time to add the stock. Next step, pomme macaire, which is no more than a French way of making a potato cake. So we take a baked potato, remove the flesh, and crush it. I add an egg yolk, salt and pepper. And just to make it even more delicious, cream. I am French after all. Look at that. Whoa. Beautiful. Mushrooms. I'm just going to sweat these off very gently. Parsley just adds to the wonderful fragrance. The sauce, all it needs now is that generous spoonful of butter. Will give it its shine and thicken it very, very slightly. That's the thickness that I want, holding itself. And the shallots have rendered down, but they're still recognisable as a shallot. All that's left now is to assemble the dish. These beautiful little mushrooms just spread around the plate. Bone marrow. And finally, just a few drops of this beautiful red wine sauce. And there you have it. The magret de canard bordelaise. Just hope the chefs will be able to understand the true essence of this recipe and deliver a plate like this.
We've always had good feedback from all my head chefs. If we get good feedback from Michel Jr., I think that would be a great achievement in my career. If I made a silly mistake and Michel Roux sent me home today, I'd be gutted. I just need to get everything perfect today.
He's extra pressure as a fact. He's French and I'm French, and I want to make him proud, I guess, of like French people and French cooking, you know.
Michel Roux has been my role model for 14 years, so it's like a dream come true. It's like I'm not living this life, man. So I teach myself.
Welcome back to the MasterChef kitchen. Today you will face two tests. My classic recipe, followed by your interpretation of a classic. If you've impressed Monica so far, keep it up. If you haven't, now's your chance. One of you will be leaving today. For my classic recipe, I want you to cook a magret de canard à la bordelaise et une pomme macaire. I've given you all the ingredients, but there are no weights or measures. 1 hour to cook this beautiful classic. Off you go.
I have worked with some chefs that have been classically trained, so I think I understand what a classical chef like Michel Roux would be looking for in my food. The competition feels a lot more serious now. If there's any mistakes being made, it needs to be somebody else making them.
Michael?
No.
You're looking a little bit tense, a bit nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not familiar with the potato dish, but I can kind of work out, I think, what you're looking for by the ingredients that are in there.
Are you classically trained?
Kind of. Not as classic as you, but yeah, a little bit.
Is there a particular section you like to work more in the kitchens?
I really like to work on the larder section. I really like to create terrines. I can't wait to get back in there the next morning and cut it in half and check the cross section, you know, that kind of thing. Makes me quite excited, you know.
Me too. You have to be patient and leave it overnight, and then you're thinking about it to cut it.
I'm thinking that I want to cut it before I go home, but it's patience.
Yeah, absolutely right. Hopefully you're going to nail this one.
Thank you.
It's not a terrine.
No, it's not.
Good. Get on.
Cheers.
Excellent. Michael seems very nervous and has decided to bake the bone marrow whole in the oven, which is fine. I don't mind that. But what I do want is to see the bone marrow still holding together as pieces and not just melted away completely.
I've been in this industry for about 10 years, so I've got a good understanding of the classics. The last two tasks have gone well, so I've got a good chance of going through, but I've just got to really concentrate on today and hopefully don't mess up.
Hi, Scott.
How are you?
Good. You look like a fairly confident chef.
Yeah, when I get behind the stoves, I'm pretty confident behind it. That's what I love doing, so
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
You're working in Scotland now?
Yes, I'm the head chef there.
Head chef?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Catering college?
I went to catering college for 2 years.
So you understand the French classics? The
Yes.
French. Why do you think I'm testing you on these classics?
Well, it's where cooking came from. It's the basics of everything. It's how we understand cooking today, which is absolutely fantastic.
Do you understand this recipe?
Yes, yes.
Keep it going, Scott. Scott has got a lot of experience. You can see that he's a workhorse. Whether or not he knows how this recipe works remains to be seen. But he is portraying a certain air of confidence. "30 minutes gone, halfway."
I'm born in France. I spent 18 years in France eating French food all the time, French classics. But I thought I was a good chef, and the past few days it's been really hard for me. I didn't show my best, and I don't want to go home. I want to carry on, cook for Michel even more.
Hi, Quentin. French?
Yes, I am.
So it's not Quentin, it's Quentin.
Quentin, yeah, indeed, thank you.
So, a dish like this you should understand.
I do understand, yeah. I'm really sorry, but the potato maquet I've never done before.
No? What's your training?
I spent 4 years back in France, did 2 years catering school, and 2-year apprenticeship.
So why come to Britain then, Quentin?
I was meant to go in England just for a year or so to learn the language. And because, as you know, in France, England doesn't have a really fantastic reputation, which is a shame, really, because British cooking, I think, is really good. Yeah. And fell in love with my girlfriend.
Aha. So it wasn't the drawer of the food, it was the drawer of the girlfriend.
It was the girlfriend, but the food as well, definitely. I'm not lying when I say the food. I can promise you that.
Très bien, bonne chance, Quentin.
Merci beaucoup, chef.
Quentin said that he doesn't know what a pomme maquet is, and it does not look right. But he's very methodical, clean, tidy. It will be interesting to see if he manages to deliver on this recipe. Ten minutes, guys. 10 minutes left.
I want this so badly. So badly. I want to be in this competition. I do know the classical techniques, but not all of them. This time I have to just be in a zone in order to get the best results.
Petrus?
Oui, chef.
Where are you working now, Petrus?
It's a tourist restaurant.
Brilliant. And you're?
Head chef. I'm a head chef.
Head chef. Fantastic. What's your background?
Always wanted to become a doctor. But because my parents didn't have money and 7 of us at home, I just decided to go and look for a job. And it was 14 years ago. I was a kitchen porter in South Africa. I was just helping out, washing up, and I was working very hard. And he said, "Do you want to become a chef?" I said, "Yes, chef. Yes, chef."
That's a great story. That shows a lot of commitment. Do you understand this recipe?
Yeah, I understand a little bit of it, but I would just make sure that it tastes good, chef.
Yeah. Okay, Petrus, keep it up.
Thank you very much, chef.
I love the fact that Petrus has worked his way up from kitchen porter to the position of head chef, and you can see that Petrus loves what he's doing. So, you know, I'm expecting some really good food from him. Two minutes left. Get it right. That's it. Time's up. For my classic recipe, I asked you to cook a maigret de canard à la bordelaise with a pomme maquet. The maigret should be served pink, the bone marrow should be there and not melted completely. The potato cake should be crispy on the outside and lovely and delicate and fluffy, rich on the inside. The red wine sauce should be reduced down to a lovely, sticky consistency. Michael, let's have a look at your dish. A simple presentation, but very clean and very precise. I'm not sure that this big parsley leaf brings anything to the dish. I would have preferred to see it mixed into the mushrooms. Duck supreme, nice crispy skin. Potato cake is light. Your bone marrow, you roasted it whole, which is fine, but it seems to have gone away. There's not much of it left. The sauce you have made has not been reduced enough, and then you added lots of butter. This looks almost creamy, which it shouldn't be. It may not be the perfect interpretation of a Bordelaise sauce and garnish, but it's very well cooked and well seasoned. Well done, Michael.
There was a couple of issues, but overall he said it was really good and that I should be pleased with myself, so I am.
Presentation-wise, you've got a bit of height on it, which I like, but because you've put a lot of food on top of the potato cake, the moisture from the duck and the mushrooms means that the potato cake will no longer be crispy. The bone marrow that you've roasted whole in the bone and served like that is cooked, and it works. It's really nice. Well done. Sauce is well reduced. It's got a nice sticky glaze to it. The duck supreme is well seasoned, lovely brown, crispy skin, and it's cooked properly. Good. The shallots have been slightly overcooked. It's almost become like a jam. And potato cake, lacking seasoning. But there's something I like about you, the chef Petrus.
Thank you very much, chef. A few errors that can be fixed. I still feel that I have to push more to prove to him that I want to stay in competition.
Tim, what do you think of your plate?
It's not as good looking as I wanted to.
To me, it actually looks a bit messy. The shallots thrown all over the meat, the mushrooms as well. You didn't have any timing issues, but it looks rushed. The duck supreme has been well cooked, nicely seasoned, crispy skin, no sinew on there, no fat. You've worked well there. The shallots are well cooked, well seasoned. I like the fact that you can still recognise them as a shallot. The sauce, however, is not right. You know that, you're shaking your head, it's not right. It's more of a butter red wine sauce as opposed to a proper meat Bordelaise sauce. The pomme macaire, the potato cake, it should be made with a crushed potato. It's too smooth inside. Not what I'm looking for. There seems to be very little bone marrow as well. I think it's overcooked and melted away. A few mistakes.
I should have took my time a lot more, and I did, and I rushed on the plate, and I will get better at it. I've got so much to learn still, definitely.
Scott, it's been well dressed. You can see there's a certain symmetry, but it's just a big mound in the middle of the plate. Not my cup of tea. Really well cooked duck. Lovely and crispy, well seasoned, beautifully cut. I love the fact that you put lots of bone marrow and it's not overcooked, so it's not disappeared into just fat. There's some skill there. Very good. However, shallots, it's difficult to find them in the plate because it's all been piled on top of each other. And the sauce is not reduced down enough. It's very weak, quite acidic from the red wine. Part of this plate tell me that you are a very experienced and very knowledgeable chef. And part of this plate scares me. I don't know what to make of you. Off you go.
The sauce really annoyed me. It's just a really stupid mistake. I let myself down a bit, but hopefully the next round I can bring it back up.
You've cooked my recipe. Now it's your turn to cook your choice of a classic recipe. It should be perfect. Remember, after this, one of you will be leaving us. 1 hour. Get cooking.
The classic dish that I chose, it was very popular in South Africa. If you can get it right, it tastes good. I'll be very happy if Chef Michel says that's a good dish. I'll be very happy.
Patrice, what classic dish are you cooking for us?
Duck orange with braised root vegetables and pomme fondant.
Canard à l'orange, duck with orange sauce.
Canard à l'orange. Oh, okay.
Why this recipe?
I chose this recipe because in South Africa, when I started cooking, each and every restaurant that I've worked in, they always had this dish on the menu. Then we didn't call it duck orange. We used to call it duck à la orange. So today I want to cook duck orange.
So what's going to make yours excellent?
I just think I'm going to cook from my heart. Just make it so simple. Just taste the orange, make sure the duck is cooked properly, and the fondant's got lots of flavor.
Good. Petrus, I'm looking forward to your version of duck à l'orange.
Thank you very much, Chef.
I have had some pretty dreadful duck à l'orange over the years. I just hope that Petrus gets it right. Gets the right balance of bitterness and sweetness of the orange, not too much orange there either, and a beautifully cooked duck breast.
My classical dish is risky, but I'm just going to go all guns blazing. Hopefully I'll manage my time well. I think that's the biggest thing. I would be upset if I went home today.
Scott, what are you cooking for me?
I'm doing a papillote of salmon with artichoke marigold and pomme maxime.
Artichaut barigoule, which is like a pickled artichoke.
Yeah.
Salmon in a papillote, so in a bag.
Yeah.
You're making a classic beurre blanc sauce, so a white butter sauce, and a pomme maxime.
Pomme maxime, yes.
Which is thinly sliced potato, crisped up.
Crisped up, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, a lot of work there.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got to give it all, and hopefully this dish will show you that I can make a good sauce. I'm very good at making sauces.
Well, you weren't in the last round.
No, definitely not. I know I can cook, I've just got to show you that I can.
Good. I'm very much looking forward to trying this out.
Yeah, thank you.
Scott is cooking a piece of salmon en papillote. So it steams in its own juices, which I love, but it's a very difficult way to cook fish perfectly because you can't actually see how it's cooked until you open a bag. But he's certainly got a lot to do. Halfway, guys.
Classic French cooking is strict. You don't cut corners. Hopefully the pressure's not going to get to me. I'm just going to keep a clear mind and cook my best.
Quinton, what's your classic recipe?
It's a herb-crusted collie with braised baby fennels, wild garlic velouté, and the pomme de chasse.
What does this dish mean to you?
It means a lot to me because there's the wild garlic, which is, for me, Britain. There's the pomme de chasse, which is back home France, probably the first classic I learned in France in college. And it's like a journey on the plate for me. It's everything I learned from different countries.
There's actually quite a lot of work to be done.
I know. That's why I need to get cracking.
Right, I'm going to leave you to it.
Thank you.
I do like the sound of Quinton's dish. Some lovely fillet of collie, crusted, and then he's serving a pomme duchesse, one of the first potato dishes you learn in college in France. So he must get it right. 15 minutes, chefs. Concentrate, yeah?
There's only actually 3 main components to the dish that I've selected to cook for Michelle today, which leaves no room for error. These things have got to be cooked perfectly, otherwise they're going to stand out a mile off.
Michael, you're making a dessert. What is it?
It's œuf à la neige.
Œuf à la neige.
Oui.
So snow eggs or floating islands.
Yeah.
It's like a meringue that's poached in a mixture of milk and water cream. And then caramel on top.
That's right.
And served with a custard or a crème anglaise.
That's right, and I'm also serving it with some toasted almonds as well.
So why this particular dish?
I had it when I was a child on holiday with my parents. I didn't know what it was then, but I ate it, enjoyed it, and then 5 or 6 years into my career,
I was shown how to make it at work, and I remembered what it was from when I was a kid eating it. And I think that's why it means so much to me.
So it's a food memory, it really
Absolutely,
is.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this because it's one of my favourite desserts.
Thank you. I hope it meets your expectations.
Me too.
Thank you.
This particular dessert is such a classic, it hurts. Any mistake here and I will spot it. These meringues, they look as if they've collapsed a bit. I'm afraid they might be a bit too gloopy and heavy rather than light and airy. One minute to go, chefs. On the plates, now. That's it. Finished.
First up is Petrus with the classic dish, duck à l'orange, served with pomme fondant and braised vegetables.
Petrus, I think it looks great.
Thank you very much, chef.
That's a very good duck à l'orange.
Thank you, chef.
Very good. Your little roasted onions are lovely, delicious, sweet. The sauce is just right. Well reduced, not too sticky. Bitterness, sweetness, savoury. A perfect accompaniment for a very well cooked duck. You've shown a good palate, good skills. Well done.
Thank you very much, chef. I'm just over the moon now. I wish I could just jump and jump and jump and dance and dance.
Quentin's classic dish is brioche herb-crusted coulis with pomme duchesse, braised baby fennel, and wild garlic velouté.
Quentin, the pomme duchesse doesn't look right. It looks a little bit wet. Did you have trouble with it?
Yeah, I did, yeah. The potatoes weren't cooked enough and put too much butter and it didn't work.
Beautifully cooked piece of fish. Absolutely flaking off, moist. The thing with coulis, if you overcook it by a matter of seconds, it becomes dry and cotton wool in texture. Well done. The crust is nice. It brings a really nice flavour to this dish. Your velouté has got a taste of garlic, but not overpowering, which is good. Your pomme duchesse are not right. You know it. And one thing that I must say about this whole dish, it is lacking in a zest and in seasoning. You've shown to me that you know how to cook a piece of fish really well.
Thank you.
Very, very well.
Merci, chef.
The rest of the dish I'm not bowled over with.
I don't have a good feeling. I think I'm going home tonight, but the fact Michel said the fish was cooked well has definitely put a smile on your face here.
For his classic dish, Scott has cooked salmon en papillote, served with pomme maxime, artichoke barigoule, and a caper and tomato beurre blanc.
Scott, presentation, I think it's really nice. But in the first round, you gave me a big pile of food in the middle of the plate. You're doing the same. Not practical for the diner.
Yep.
Full of flavour. Lovely. Little artichokes. They're almost sweet. They're tender. They've been cooked properly. And the pomme maxime is lovely and buttery, as it should be. The salmon is ever so slightly overcooked. You get away with it because it's cooked en papillote in a bag, so it stayed very moist. You let me down and yourself down with your sauce in the last round, and I must say you certainly have redeemed yourself with your classic beurre blanc. It's not too rich, it's got the right level of acidity in it. Wonderful. Great classic skills on show here.
Couple of stupid mistakes. I think theirs got the better of me, but I think it went well. I'd go 50-50 at the moment.
Michael is the only chef to make a classic dessert, œuf à la neige. Soft poached meringues in crème anglaise topped with toasted almonds and a sugarwork cage.
Michael, presentation-wise, it looks very pretty. Very nice sugarwork. One thing I will say is œuf à la neige for me is a dessert that's supposed to be opulent and plentiful. This looks a bit small. Okay, let's see if this caramel is crunchy. Yeah. The crème anglaise or custard, it is lovely and rich. It's creamy, really good. The almonds in there give a lovely taste as well because they've been toasted. The sugar is crunchy as it should be. But the œuf à la neige, or the poached meringues, the liquid that you were poaching them was boiling, and therefore they've overcooked. They've collapsed a bit. And the texture's not quite right.
I just had one negative point and the rest was positive, so hopefully I've done enough to stay in the competition.
Thank you, chefs. Some very good cooking today. Monica and I are now going to sit down and decide who is going to leave this competition, which won't be easy. Off you go. I've had a good day today, Monica. There were mistakes, of course, but they can cook.
That's great to hear.
They certainly took on board your comments, especially one of them. I'll tell you what, Petrus worked beautifully. A lot of care and attention dressing the plate.
He really did listen. On this skills test, his weakness was the presentation. Yet you taste his food and it was just mind-blowing.
Petrus, for my classic, was the only one who managed to make a proper good red wine sauce. And his duck was beautifully cooked, well seasoned. He's got a good palate.
I just want to keep going. I still got more to show in my little bag of secrets.
So who was your standout chef?
On both rounds, for me, it was Scott. His first dish was a really stunning panna cotta. The second dish was the abalone, where Scott went on to make his ceviche. He has a lot of skill, a very talented chef.
For my classic, Scott was let down with his sauce. It really was wishy-washy and too acidic. Nonetheless, very good cooking, especially on his classic dish. A lot of skills on show. A very accomplished dish.
A couple of things with the supremacy of the sauce and the plating as well. But I think I've showed that I'm a good cook.
So we've got two chefs that we think are very good and really deserve to go through to the next round. Scott and Petrus.
We agree on that.
That leaves us with Quentin and Michael.
Michael attempted to make a dessert in the first invention test. It was a chocolate tart, but there were errors. It was clear just by looking at it that he had split that mix, which is a shame because the pastry was just right.
For his classic, he actually did an œuf à la neige. Unfortunately, they collapsed and they were spongy in texture. Saying that, they tasted lovely. And instead of pouring caramel on top, he went to the trouble of making a really well-executed sugar cage.
If all ended today, I'd be gutted. Hopefully I've put myself across good enough to stay in the competition till the next round.
Quentin's an interesting chef, not as experienced as the other chefs here today, and I think that actually showed. In the classic test, the duck was well cooked and well seasoned, and the shallots as well, but it just didn't look as neat and tidy as it should. But for his classic, he baked a piece of coli with a herb crust, absolutely beautifully cooked. But he didn't cook the potato enough, so that was a bit of a disaster.
I'm actually not surprised because when we did the first test, Quentin attempted to make a panna cotta, which didn't set. On this skills test, the abalone, he was so messy. He got so flustered. It was just bland. A very disappointing effort to see.
I'd like to stand a competition to progress and get better. If my journey ends today, I'll be disappointed. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, what are we going to do? Michael has got the edge on Quentin because of his experience, but he's still making mistakes. Quentin can learn. He's young. He wants it. He can certainly cook a piece of fish and a duck breast.
What's your gut feeling telling you?
Really good cooking today. I'm impressed. It is a competition though, and sadly one of you will be leaving.
The chef that is leaving us is Quentin.
Guys, good luck, yeah. Good luck. I'm not surprised because I wasn't up to the standards. It was really tough, really hard, and disappointed by the fact I'm leaving.
Congratulations, you are quarterfinals. Well done.
It feels absolutely fantastic to get through the quarterfinals. But obviously, it gets harder, so I need to really focus now, not making any stupid mistakes.
I'm over the moon. I am over the moon. I am ready for the next round. I am ready to rock and roll.
I was nervous, definitely. So relief, excitement. Yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm really chuffed. It's hard and it's stressful, but it's exciting and I'm loving it.